witches. Tonight is the Aries full supermoon, and it's the end of an eclipse season. It's not an eclipse, but it's bookending an eclipse, and it's the end of a period of eclipses that have been in Aries and Libra. So for the last 2 years-ish, it's been Aries and Libra. So that's been looking at the who I am Ariesness, and then the collective balance and fairness and social justice of Libra. And now we're moving into a new era of Pisces and Virgo, which is more to do with the spiritual practice and inner work of a hermit of Virgo, and then the religion and the collective spirituality of Pisces. So it's a much more spiritual thing that we're moving into, rather than kind of more social and personal identity. But also it's Pluto has spent the last 18-ish years in Capricorn, which is institutions and tradition, and is very heavy in earth and is very solid. And it's now moving into Aquarius, which has been dipping backwards and forwards into. It's just done its last retrograde back into Capricorn, and now it's moving forwards through Capricorn, and it's going into Aquarius for good for the next 20 years-ish, 18 years, in November. And that will be the last time in our lifetime that we will have been in Capricorn for Pluto. And Pluto is the big expansive planet. It is the world events. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the French Industrial and American Revolutions. So we can expect things to shift and change, and it's about new expansive ideas. It's about the collective and things changing, and movements and social movements. And yeah, it's just a very different energy to tradition and patriarchy and the things that we've been in for the last 20 years. So this moon, with our beautiful element of fire, so it's Aries, and we were also being squared by Mars, with Pluto also direct heading towards Aquarius. It's very much time to purify, and fire is all about purification. It's why they burnt witches in Europe. We hung them in England, but they burnt them in Scotland and Europe. It was the idea that you purified the person. It's a purification, but it's also that rising phoenix, rising from the ashes. What do we want to rise with? What phoenix do we want to rise as? What do we want to shed? And Libra is all about your heart being as light as a feather. So if your heart is on a scale and your feather's on the other side, how do you make sure your heart feels as light as a feather? So tonight we were burning things. We were writing things down and we were burning them. So I'm just thinking if there's anything else that I didn't say that I didn't burn, I want to burn. Burnt a lot of things. We all did. It was really good. Is there anything left that I haven't said? I feel pretty light. But we were burning things that we wanted to get rid of, but also any sort of, I want to send up to the universe, like prayers as well. And I suppose, as a phoenix, I want to rise from the ashes of this all and be I have to think into that. Can't do that just off the top of my head. I'm going to do a reading for you right now, because this is a big one. This is important. So don't just rush things or do them from a light, willy-nilly place. We did some meditation beforehand. We meditated, and then at the end, so we meditated and then felt into, like I said, connect with the 4 elements, to do a bit of sort of accounting, really. Like, what do you want to say thank you about the physical world with your body? What do you say thank you about what you've learned and what's been happening intellectually? And then your passion and your fire, what have you been driven by? What do you feel inspired and passionate about? And then what watery, like spirituality, your imagination, your creativity, what do you want to say thank you to about that? But also, as you're doing that, is there anything that you therefore want to let go of, like judgments if I'm not good enough, or I'm not creative enough, or I don't earn enough money, or whatever it is? So there might be different things that you feel about any of those things, and for those to be that you burn them all, frivolous things, but also feel into the bigger things, like burn everything. And once we'd done all of that and we'd done the burning, we then did another little meditation where we just felt into, I asked people to think of their favourite patch of grass, because we've just been in an 8 year, which is life force energy, which is like very frenetic. It's the energy that you make a baby with. It's very powerful. And we've been in that for the last year of this 8 year. And we're now moving into a 9 year, because 20 add 4 is 8. So 20 add 5 is 9. 2 add 5. And 9 is a really gentle, subtle energy. It's quite sophisticated. And so the mantra really for next year is to get more from less. So how can we learn to get more from less? And so we, at the end of the meditation, I asked them to think of their favourite patch of grass. And we imagined sitting by this favourite patch of grass and really looked at it for a bit and felt the air and breathed the air and the noises and what was happening in that grass, if there were insects or anything happening. And then to like feel in our hearts feeling light and as light as a feather, and there was a breeze, and so we stand up and we take the feather out and we throw it into the air and let it fly away. And yeah, so that was how we closed it. So that's an invitation to do. I also said to put some water in a jar and take it out and leave it under this moon, because that will be giving you fiery Aries water, which is a really powerful water energy to be harnessing, because you can use that. If you keep it in a jar, it means you can drink it afterwards, because it hasn't been exposed to animals drinking from it and things like that. So then you can use it if you want to take a spoonful before going to a job interview or something that you're a bit nervous about. You can splash it on as perfume it's like fire water for giving you strength and courage and stuff in situations. So that's another thing that'd be good to do tonight in this Aries energy. But yeah, see this as a purification, and us after this leaping forth out of this fire as phoenixes, reborn and fresh and ready for the age of Aquarius and what's to come. So let's see what the runes have to say about that. Be very brave and courageous and fearless. So this is Algaz, which is the elk. So it's like the antlers of an elk. But also for me, this is like Artemis. So it is the warrior. It's this fearless warrior bounding through the forests, shooting her bow and arrow. She is powerful and strong and fearless. Lagoon in water. So this is what is about to happen in the physical world. So physically, we're entering into this Pisces, Virgo axis now with the eclipses, and we're entering into the number 9 as we enter into the age of Aquarius. So I feel like this is an invitation moving forwards for us. And we are also heading towards Scorpio, which is a water sign and is very much inner world and ancestors. And, you know, the ancestors are starting to crowd in. The veils are thinning, like they're starting to crowd in to make our physical world a spiritual, imaginative, inner place. Like it doesn't have to be. So this is the rune of the inner world. This is the rune of water. But for this to be showing up in the direction of the earth, the physical, is these inner and outer worlds need to become one. How do we invite in the inner world to our outer world? How do we make everything sacred and make everything an act of worship? And that's what I'm working towards my whole time at the moment. So this is a message. This is a spiritual message, and this is in communication. So this is about like paying attention to the synchronicities, and listening to what people say, and the wisdom and the information that's being shared, because people are saying things. And I think it's important to even be open to people challenging you, saying things that challenge you, that you're not supportive of or up for. But being open to listening and being open to hearing, because all of these realities are valid. They all exist, even if they're not your reality. I met 2 flat earthers on Saturday, and it was or on Sunday. And that is quite challenging for me, because but then it was challenging for them. They couldn't believe that I wasn't in their camp. And some of you might be watching this and feeling that as well. And for me, it's like, you know, my reality is 100% the earth is round, and that's because of science, but it's also because I fucking love this juicy round world. Like, oh, it's our bellies, it's our bums, it's the shape of us. It's like the Venus statues. We're round. Look, I mean, you don't have goddesses the shape of coins, do you? We're round, like it's the earth. So for me, I don't want that to be a flat 2-dimensional coin. I'm not interested in that. you know, and I'm an astro guide who shows people the stars and things. So it doesn't chime with me, that reality. But I also am not going to just completely shoot someone down, because, you know, I said to them, it might be that the reality that I was in pre-2020, before I flipped timelines to this one, because I do feel like I flipped timelines. There were no flat earthers in the timeline I was in before. I've only ever heard of that since 2020. So I now live in a reality where the earth could be flat. Might be that I've flipped timelines and I now live in a reality where the earth's flat. So just be open to things. Like, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, like, whatever. I was going to say it's not hurting anyone, but people might start hurting people over these things, because that's how these things start. But as long as no one's hurting each other or hurting you or whatever, then be open. Just be open to things, to listening to people and sharing. It's fascinating. I'm fascinated that that's even possible or plausible for someone's reality. It's so implausible and impossible from the reality that I was in pre-2020 that it just blows my mind that it's even possible here. But I also believe, not necessarily 100%, but I do believe that I jumped timelines in 2020. You know, it does feel like that. There are a lot of things that are different in this reality, including the earth being flat. Yeah, like, I don't have asthma, I'm not scared of heights. Like, there's the path up to Glastonbury Tor's in a different place. Like, for someone else, they'll be hearing me say that, and that's just as mad as the flat earth thing. So, you know, it's having room and space for different realities, because who cares? No one's right, are they? Like, we've all got a different slant on things that just isn't true. Harvest, and this is in the fire. So this is the burning thing. Burn it all and then harvest what's left and what you've purified to rise from the ashes as the phoenix. And it's the time of harvest at this time of year. So we're using all of this power and energy and the energy of the moon to harvest and to pull forth something that is escaping as the phoenix at the end of it. And that creates a new dawn, and that's in the spiritual. So this dawning of the age of Aquarius, we're creating a new dawn. We're stepping out into a new dawn, a new epoch and a new era. And what a wonderful thing. How exciting that is. So let's do a card shuffle. Oh, that one definitely wanted to go. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So year 8, swiftness. So that's the number 8, and it was the year 8, and that was this energy, this frenetic life force energy that we've been in. And if you look at it, it's so busy and frenetic, but also rainbow. It's the full spectrum. It's magical. This is the life force energy that creates a baby. So it's not a bad energy. It's not like I'm not saying Mars energy is a bad energy, but it's a much more fiery, fighty energy. This is more of a like, anything can happen, baby making sperm. It's that kind of energy. But it can be very overwhelming, and it's been an easy year to get burnt out. I got burnt out lots of times. This has come up because one of the cards for what's the Aries full moon, and the card for Aries is the Emperor. But in most tarot decks, the Emperor's legs are crossed like the Hangman, as it is on the Fool. So the Fool stepping off the cliff will often have this cross legged. You can see him stepping off the cliff like the Fool and sitting on the throne as the Emperor. So this indicates a connection between these cards. So an emperor to rule is also surrendered to the collective, to community. And the Hangman is all about surrendering. This card's an amazing card. It's about you just letting go. And that's what I keep saying to people about what we need to do to enter the age of Aquarius. You just got to let go. We've just got to learn to step off the cliff into the unknown, which is what the Fool is doing. The Fool is stepping off the cliff into the unknown. And this Aries energy of the Emperor, of like, Aries is about you and who you are and self-actualization. But for you to really own yourself and to like fully sit in your power is to relinquish control. Stop trying to control everything. Don't be a dictator. Like, the best type of leader doesn't do anything. So if you are leading successfully, you literally do nothing. In fact, I'd say it's a measure of how good you are at leading. The less you do, and you're just the center of the web and you just know what's going on and all the information goes through you, and so you're like the information center, but everything else is being done by everybody else, that's the sign of a good leader. So you know, and that's the same in yourself. Like, don't hold on to anything. Don't try and control anything. Don't try to like prove who you are. Just be completely comfortable with who you are and just let your power be and surrender to everything that's about to happen. We're changing paradigms. We're going from water into steam. We're going from earth of Capricorn into air sign. We're going from, yeah, lots of different energies are about to shift. So to let it all go. And then, yeah, this is being as light as a feather. This is a clear, swift, and this is very Aquarius. Has it got Aquarius on there? No, it doesn't. It feels like a very Aquarius card anyway. This new era of the mind and thinking and free, airy thoughts. Whoosh, just being clear and very precise with a sharp intention. So that's good. Let's see what the goddess has to say. So this is a little like finger point from the goddess. The tigress. That's very Aries. Rah! Be fierce and fiery and free. That's also the central card of being a wild, free spirit. And remember that it's all about love. So this is the key to everything. This is the original element or energy that we were working in, that we were living in, was love. You know, it's interesting actually, yeah, because we were just talking about this in the ceremony. Money is an element that we created when humanity became more water. So we were ice as Neolithic people, and we didn't need money then because everything was just done bartering in small groups because we were just small groups of people. And I'd say then the main element was love. It was us looking after each other, and we were connected to that love, and we were connected to each other. Then things got more complicated. There were too many people. It wasn't possible to just trust everyone and know everyone, and therefore be able to like get your money, get your stuff back from the bartering. So we created money to fill in the gap of this problem that we had. So it was to do with trust. So it's kind of love to trust. And we created this element of money, and money can keep shifting and keeps changing, and it, you know, it's now become completely ethereal as life and the universe is becoming steam and ethereal. So we're now entering into steam, and that's yeah, we need to bring the love back in, because love doesn't have to be this solid thing. So yeah, reconnecting to the love is very important for us to remember that that's what the original element or binding force between us all used to be. And seeing as money's become pretty much a concept, we can therefore conceptualize anything. So it's about the imagination and imagining love back into the center of things. Let's see. Influence, Maeve. It's quite Halloween-y. She's lovely. She's standing on some skulls. So let's see what she's got to say, because I've not pulled her before. Well, that's interesting. Influence. Maeve is fiercely ambitious, is the fiercely ambitious warrior queen of Irish mythology and the goddess of supreme sovereignty, which is what I was just talking about, sovereignty. It is said that no king could ever truly rule Ireland without first engaging in a sacred ritual with Maeve, who requires satisfaction. She has the power to deprive men of all strength merely by standing before them, an ability noted throughout her mythos. Maeve asks that a king meet 3 major criteria for sovereignty. They must be courageous, which is this rune, generous, which is kind of this, it's the harvest, and without jealousy. Okay, well, that's the love. If any king granted power by the goddess shows fear or acts unfaithfully to her, he is deemed unworthy of his crown. Maeve sits upon her throne to help you understand the intricacies of your influence. This message comes in many forms but requires balance and trust to survive. Whether it be a partnership, friendship, or something in between, remaining cognizant of your connections can benefit both parties greatly. When you are open to gratitude, others feel gratitude in return. Fear and uncertainty have no bearing in this realm. Maeve is here to make sure of that. Have you felt yourself naturally drawn to someone recently? Dispel all illusions and doubts, as your influence within these new connections can bring you the gift of something much more meaningful. Okay, brilliant. Yes, and feeling your power and knowing your power, and sovereignty is very much key, because that's Aries is the emperor. So yeah, how to be sovereign, and sovereignty and servanty. So it's being in service, how to be in service and be powerful, but without being a dictator. So hopefully that's of some use. I hope that you can get yourself all clear and ready for this new thing that this unknown that we're gonna leap into. I'm excited. So yeah, burn some stuff, and sending you lots of love. See you, Neil.